The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
If you love history and road trips, then this next segment is for you. We learn more about the history of road trips and highways from celebrity historian Raffi Andonian. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. August is National Traffic Awareness Month, so as summer winds down, let's take a look at road trips and highways. Celebrity historian Raffi Andonian joins us to share some history about the origins of these American traditions. Thank you for joining us.
Of course, great time to be here. Road tripping summer.
Road trip. I've done too many cross-country road trips.
Toy cars from when I was a kid.
That's pretty darn cute. All right, tell us, what is the history of road trips so we all know?
Well, road trips start more than a century ago, the notion of them, because of the fact that the automobile was this sort of novel new thing. Now, it was too expensive for most people, and there wasn't a lot of infrastructure with highways because you don't have the gas stations and the restaurants and, you know, all the supply stores along the way. However, as car prices started to drop with more used cars coming on the market, the Model T, of course, the Ford Model T, and credit became more available. That made it more sort of available for people to do, or affordable. That then meant the entrepreneurs came around, put up the restaurants and the diners and such, and the government investing in roads and highways, and that's what popularizes road trips. Now, of course, Route 66, very famously, coming right through Joplin. That's part of this whole larger project of people moving and, of course, taking road trips. To this day, people take road trips on there. Now, one of the things that's really valuable to remember is the fact that as that's taking place, people are also looking at a sense of freedom because it's breaking free from the limits of a train schedule. And that's kind of how we start to associate road trips in the car from freedom, because we're not tied to the train schedule.
You make your own schedule.
From this city. That's right. You make your own schedule.
I love that. And tell us about, the history of Route 66. What made it so prolific for its time, and how has it changed over the years?
John Steinbeck, right, has it in his novel. So what happens is that it is, this notion of moving out west, right, east to west, new opportunity. It's during the Depression. That's a big deal too. Economic opportunity is really kind of associated with it. So that kind of puts it into the lore of the United States. Really wonderful kind of the areas that it goes to that you can still trace to this day.
I know. And do you believe that, today's road trippers are very different with how they go about it? Has there been new trends?
I do think that there is a difference. Part of the reason I think is because we have interstate highways. Now, you guys realize roads back then are a lot more challenging to navigate than they are today. And that's why the interstate highway system comes into place. Now, we have this mythology sometimes that it was a Cold War thing that was, just for the military. We think of planes landing on there, but it's not actually designed for planes, although planes have sometimes landed on there. The idea behind the interstate highway system was actually to promote commerce and to promote less traffic jams, believe it or not, and increase safety because of the fact that these roads we're talking about, if you follow Route 66 in some areas, it's very challenging to navigate it. It's bumpy, it has steep cliffs and all kinds of things, and it predates Eisenhower. Highways started with Woodrow Wilson and Franklin Roosevelt, and then Eisenhower. That's how we got to the highway system that we think of. It wasn't until George Bush in 1990 that named it the Eisenhower Interstate System that we associated with Eisenhower primarily.
That's fascinating. Well, you are just a wealth of knowledge. I could sit here and talk about this all day. We'll be right back after this message.